You might be asking yourself, your beloved, your treasure, your desired partner, does he actually realize that he's just running away? That he's just deceiving himself? That he's simply on the run? And that it's pure distraction? What he says? His actions, reactions? And now let's take a look at that. Dear ones, we are tapping into the energy of the now, the most present energy that wants to reveal itself. And, we are in the collective. Personal cards are gender neutral, and a collective reading cannot apply to everyone. Please adapt the personal cards for yourselves and your situation. And very importantly, I want to mention this again. A collective reading cannot always be 100% accurate for every single part. So if 3 people of interest are shown here, or 3 candidates who flirt with you, who want something from you, it could also be that it's only 2 or 1. We are in the collective, but it could also be 4 or 5. So therefore, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here, my dear ones. And also a very dear thank you again for the suggestion in the collective for this question. There were 2 questions included. And yes, I will now take one and see what shows up. Maybe something from the second one is already included. And otherwise, I will also address the second question separately again. And you can always from the heart feel free to write suggestions for a collective reading in the comments. And I gladly include each and every question from the heart. And then I would say, let's get started. I hug you very, very, very tightly. And I send you lots of positive, loving energy. And if someone is not feeling well, then I hope that you now get a little of the energy from the positive energy. I wish you that you feel better soon. And now I would say, let's go. We take a look. Or rather, I am now connecting with the energy, focusing on the question. That I have such a rejection. So then it starts big with the major arcana. And there we have the area with the person of the heart. He is already trying. Yes, not necessarily to look closely. He is blocked. I have the blocked one. So I have him in retreat repeatedly. And there is also envy shown in him or her. Envy. And this coldness too. But what I also find nice now, because something is happening in him, which I find nice, something is happening in him that is not good for him at all, which he notices. Something is going wrong here, only. It is such that he is still in this blocked state, but growth is also shown here. The growth, a big topic is indeed the relationship for your heart's person. And something is always blooming here, coming up, blooming. And we are looking closely at what it is. But it also has a theme. His or her theme is also dependency, envy, and precisely this blocked state. Maybe he also likes to block, that he quickly blocks you or blocks conversations or personal meetings. So what else do we have? So then we continue energetically with the swords. We have the 9 of swords. 9 of swords, okay? He has fears. He has fears. He is actually complete within himself. This is a kind of soul torment that he has. And what he doesn't show you are these extreme worries, this guilt. What is inside him? And I think he is running away from that too. But, we will go into detail here and take a closer look. And yes, it is like that. He might run away and always show you or distract himself. That is, he shows you outside that maybe, hey, it's like this. He is doing great. That's right, he is happy. But basically, inside he is giving up. And indeed, they are his own real, true desires. They are always being postponed. And he withdraws because of that. What exactly it is, well, let's take a look. Okay, So we have a lot of major arcana here, I just noticed. But well, major arcana is always great. We have very powerful energy. So, and we continue with the devil. So there is always again that he might have an old behavior pattern that he distracts himself, doesn't want to look. These are his own issues. These are shadow issues. And it's like a temptation. Yes, we have dependency. We have temptation. This is always this. Yes. He has to constantly fight this urge, this running away. It's like a pull that keeps attracting him. But basically, if you look at it more closely, it's also really a torment for him. He has fears. And as seen earlier, he puts his own desires, namely in the background. He holds them back and therefore keeps withdrawing. Because inside him, well, he's not doing well. There lies quite a bit, which is also related to fears. And he runs away from that too and constantly distracts himself. But he also notices, if I look at the whole situation here, he notices, or you already do, that it can't be maintained like this anymore. So something is going on inside him or her. Because I have these doubts. Well, he always keeps his distance. And here again, the dependency. But there is something that is also ailing him. Illness is also a matter of trust. Trusting himself. But it's this heaviness that I see inside him here. And this, he actually wants to get out. Because if we look at the card more closely now, it's also like this. He is actually confined in his facade, in his wall. And ultimately, it's also like this. The door is open. He could go out, but fear holds him back. But because the door is open, he wants to get out. He also realizes inside himself that he might not be able to maintain this for much longer. Something definitely doesn't fit anymore. All right, let's take a look. Interesting. It starts right away with his fears. Amen. He is also like that. Maybe it's with him or with her. Yes. Like, why such a thing, such a thing? Like a time lapse somehow. He keeps running away. I have him so strongly, so intensely in his insecurity and his problems. So it doesn't work at all. And yes, he definitely runs away. And he can also very quickly, yes, get offended, sulk, run away defiantly. That's what I have with him. And then it might be that this coldness, which was shown here, we have it again. It shows the coldness, these short step reactions. Leave me. And there is the reaction from him or from her. The reason is because he is insecure and tries to show something different outwardly, because then he doesn't even know how to react, how he can react. Because he simply beats himself up completely. He actually feels like a little child at times. And where he definitely runs away from, that's love. And whether he comes to awakening there, well, I'll put it this way. His issues that I have here are really quite extreme and confined. I have definitely restricted him. But he also feels what occupies him a lot, what affects him greatly, is also this running away. It takes a toll on him, always this distraction. And he feels that this distraction, that he always distracts himself, essentially just leads him into a dead end or makes him go around in circles. He notices that too, because it becomes increasingly exhausting. I have more and more burden, and it's such a burden for him that it becomes increasingly difficult. Everything. Because it's exhausting. And he is now at a point where he is slowly reaching this point, where he no longer feels comfortable with this distraction, with this running away. So let me put it this way. The sneakers are wearing out. They're all worn out. already. And as I see him, he's also quite stuck here with me. In his financial situation, also firmly. And then it's also like this thing where he or she keeps getting distracted outside with activities, maybe meeting other people, perhaps female or male. As I said, in your situation, please transform it for yourself again. But I have him. That's his insecurity. He also does a lot of what others say. Even if he says, no, I do what I want here. I have everything completely under control here. He definitely distracts himself, but realizes that the happiness that once made him happy no longer makes him happy. On the contrary, it actually pulls him completely, his situation as I see it, more and more into a depth, into an emptiness. And that's exhausting. He can't do it anymore. So what he always did, his behavioral patterns that he kept repeating, distract, he now realizes that the distraction no longer works. He distracts himself, he goes out, he does activities, whether it's been a hobby where it's always the same pattern, or went out with friends, or always different dates, or with others on social media or something like that, to get in touch. And that actually distracted him. But what I find interesting now is that he does it, yes, but he notices that it somehow becomes more exhausting. He no longer gets into the flow where this feeling comes, yeah, all right, everything's great, I can let go of everything else. On the contrary, if someone says something, whoosh, we have a memory of you. And among other things, other topics also keep coming up for him, where he is repeatedly confronted with what his wishes actually are, which he has pushed far, far, far back. His wishes are really also to be able to let himself go. Those are his wishes. Just this lightness. And now someone says something and, I don't know, it's about Hawaiian pizza, for example. And you liked eating Hawaiian pizza. That automatically reminds him of you again and again. What wasn't there before is now coming. Or outside, which I also see very clearly, that maybe friends or acquaintances, what he notices, he is repeatedly confronted with this harmony. The harmony, this togetherness. Like when a buddy says, for example, watch out, I'm going now, my wife or my girlfriend has cooked. Or we are going out to eat together, or we are doing something together. Wow. Then for him, it's like, boom, how excluded he feels. And now he also feels that he wants that. So I would say it didn't bother him at all before. Then, okay, he just went to the next person or did something else. All right, that's fine. No, but not anymore. Because now it really tears at him. I see such a real tear repeatedly with him or her that he feels, wow, I actually want that too. And that's what he has always pushed away. Always this, I'm cool, I'm great, I don't need that. Especially because he has always run away from his feelings. Inside, I see him as completely vulnerable, lying. And he runs away from that too. He runs away when he is not hurt. He distracts himself. And he also runs away from taking responsibility for something stable in a relationship now. But he realizes, so as I said, I still have this feeling, yes, that one thing or another will come up, that he likes to do something. But it keeps repeating, becoming stronger each time, the memory or this feeling that something is missing for him. Closeness, security, above all, honesty. Honesty is also a very big issue. Because it's always like this. Also that he always found excuses or always deceived himself. His wrong thoughts, wrong actions, no reactions, perspectives. And that's also what he now realizes, it's exhausting. It's no longer so easygoing, just out of nowhere. And he also knows that he has not always been honest with you. Maybe one thing or another has come out and you might have already noticed it. And that's also where he really has these difficulties. He really has a guilty conscience. I have feelings of guilt with him. And that's what he actually wouldn't see all the time. But now he's starting to realize, hey, it doesn't fit anymore. The intervals are getting shorter and shorter that he is confronted with it. Closeness, family, harmony. This simply very relaxed, this very laid back. Getting up together in the morning, having breakfast, or then falling asleep together in the evening, just watching TV. Simply this, yes. Letting the soul dangle, being able to let oneself go. This togetherness, but this stable togetherness. That's it. Those are his own wishes. And I also have his own issues with him. I see him very much in his psychological burden. And those are his fears. His fears really have dominance. Above all, he has a panic fear in a relationship, in a connection. If he completely lets go, that he does something wrong. Does something wrong and then is excluded. Is pushed away, is replaced, is swapped out. Like a player in football. If he no longer performs, he goes to the bench or something like that. And then the other player comes in, and that is his or her very big issue. And he's also afraid, always the confrontation, these problems. That's also it. He doesn't want to discuss problems. He prefers to just gloss over them, to run away from them. Because he himself is not happy at all, but he also wants happiness. Above all, he wants harmony in the relationship. The thoughts, what I find here now, I always say everything that is shown in the cards, even if it might not directly fit the question now, but it wants to show itself, because it is a major issue for him or her. And although that wasn't the question, we wanted to know if he realizes that he's just distracting himself. Yes, he realizes that, but what's also shown is the confrontation. That there are indeed a lot of feelings directed towards you. And this is clearly shown again here. I have the connection between you two. And he has the whole thing in mind. Because when he imagines something, or when such phases come, or such situations, like the example you gave earlier, that a friend then, yes, goes to his wife or goes to his girlfriend, does something with her, or says, look, I can't. I want to do something with my girlfriend. And there's this, wow, I would like to do that with you too. That's what he has in mind, because it keeps coming up. He doesn't want it with just anyone. But these are his own desires. He runs away from them. He simply runs away from love. He stays completely on the surface here. And he really has massive problems. And there he also has a bit of concern. And yes, he runs away from that too. He also distracts himself because he doesn't want to face his financial issues, professional issues, this whole area. He runs away from that too. He is really deceiving himself a lot, but realizes he has simply no more strength. He doesn't want that anymore because more and more repetition is coming, showing where he truly wants to go, the longing. I see the longing very pronounced in him or her, dear ones. So let's take a look. What else do we have? Okay, we have the swords again. We have the Knight of Swords. Well, the Knight of Swords is, yes, it is an unpleasant process of clarification for him or her. And he can also be a bit like that. This coldness, now a bit of an ice age as well, added to it. So a bit cold. So he is also now starting to be quite harsh, judging himself for everything he has done wrong. But he knows he wants to get out of there. And he is coming into this process of clarification. And he knows that he might have reacted somewhat arrogantly all the time. And now it is such that he really gets this ambition to move towards change. It can't be like this anymore. And of course, I still have him restless. I have him lying nervously. But he notices. Feelings are stronger. This is now his inner self. The feelings, the emotions, they are coming up now. The harmony. And as I said, this lack of strength. And simply this, just someone holding him in their arms. Simply this togetherness, and he feels it. Or do you really now as well? Intensely. And it is such that he realizes it's just pure distraction. And he is really looking for a way to do the whole thing. He wants this disappointment. He is disappointed in himself. And the disappointment from his past, that's what is very, very deep inside him. And he once stubbornly held onto it and then sometimes wandered aimlessly outside. The main thing was just to get away, distract and leave. But he knows, whether you were in a relationship or connection, that the farewell for him, now it really hurts. It's really like this with a heavy heart. Now we come to the point where the touch also comes in. And it's simply the uncertainty. He knows that he is on the run. That's the uncertainty. What he is afraid of is the new, namely opening up, letting himself go. But he realizes that it's a distraction, that he has simply been running away. Dear ones, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and wish you a wonderfully beautiful rest of the day. Goodbye.